let's get over to Mr. Kittle. Thanks for texting me that my audio went horrible there for a little while. Appreciate that update. And then also, thank you so much for posting within the TMC network the interview we did with Melissa. I thought it was a really good interview, and I got to tell you, I'm so encouraged, not only for TMC, David, but also for our industry. Now, that may also explain why we've had such a crazy spike in our listeners. This is Friday's numbers. When Ben shot these over, he says, hey, more good news about the growth of our listenership. On Friday, we had in 24 hours 4,544 listens, downloads of our podcast. And the last week, Friday to Friday, week before, we had 12,801 listens. I want to thank you all, listeners. I keep asking you to share this with others, and obviously you are, because these are just crazy growth numbers, and we're just thrilled. Again, what we try to do, and the aim of our podcast, is to bring you timely information in an audio format that you can listen to anytime and anywhere, and it's the thought leadership. And I don't know if it's some of the recent rants I've been going on, but whatever reason, it's resonating and it's working. At least it looks like it's continuing to grow. We're grateful for that. And Mr. Kittle, thank you for posting that out there. What did you think of that interview? I'm really liking Melissa.
Look, obviously she's doing a great job just the few weeks she's been in the seat. Staff loves her. And to your point, David, I don't want you to get too excited about 4,000 downloads. I listened to it about 500 times myself. I like it so much.
Okay, so you screwed up the numbers. Okay.
Just kidding.
So
but we appreciate the opportunity that you gave Melissa to do that. And we enjoyed it. And we're getting great feedback from it as well. Yeah, good move.
So what's your take on did you see the headlines with the realtor, I think the lawsuit with NAR, National Association of Realtors, this seems to be getting some momentum, and there's more and more people. This article is written fairly neutral, not trying to project the outcome of it. But if we were to see that the redefined realtor fees, David, this is going to be significant. One of the things it says in this article, it could be the undoing of the NAR, National Association of Realtors. Their survivability out of this could be in question. Thoughts?
Sure. Our industry certainly has changed in the last 8 or 9 years, right? And they've been somewhat affected by everything that's gone on with the new regulations and the CFPB, the realtors have, over the home builders. But this is a commission thing. I don't think anybody accepts a contract anymore, and this is a broad statement, paying 6%. I mean, and that's part of what they're talking about. The commissions, what they charge, how they charge, the structure, and it's all over the board. And their fees have changed. So I agree with you. I think it could has their internal structure in their trade association changed with the times?
Yes.
And that's going to be the biggest question.
And what does it mean to us? We are in shifting sands as an industry. It seems like it anyway. Some things just never seem to change, but a lot has changed over my 50 years in the industry. But this would be tectonic type shift when you look at what does this mean, because we're talking, by the way, listeners, we're talking about only the seller side of the commission. The listing side is still not being challenged, but the seller side, what the buyer side is paying, what the seller is paying on behalf of the buyer is what I'm talking about. And so that's really the focus here.
I'm not a realtor, David, but I did take real estate finance and the classes and everything. So it is, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be accurate on this, that the commission that's paid, the realtor, whether they are a realtor representing the buyer in the transaction, they're really representing the seller, because that's what the lawsuit's about partially. The seller's paying the commission on both sides. So when you think your realtor is representing you and they may be helping you negotiate, they are being paid by the commission being charged to the seller. So they're really legally representing the seller in the transaction.
So if this passes, if this goes through and they're successful and National Association of Realtors loses, where could this go? What I'm seeing is, again, another major disruption to the marketplace, David, but it also, with every major disruption comes new opportunity. And I think this is where we have to start throwing our thoughts. And I was on with one of our clients earlier, Alcova Mortgage. I was talking to them earlier, and I love where their brains go. These three guys, we're going to have them on the podcast because I just want to showcase the way these guys think about things like this. But it does cause for a major potential change. Someone's going to be paying something for that part of the fee, or does it go all the way? More and more consumers are going to Zillow to look for a home. Many times, more and more people are saying, I just need a realtor so I can finish out this contract and make the offer. And where does this go? Are we going to find the realtors that are representing the buyers now working inside of the mortgage companies? What opportunities does that present? I got to tell you, I'm sensing, and that could be wrong, but many that who say, I don't want any more change, you're hoping this does not go through. But if it does go through, what are the opportunities in this? That's what I want to be talking about this as we think forward, getting our listeners going on this.
So to your point, it's all speculation between now and then until it's decided. Yeah. And they just have to see who's going to be paying what. Then you got disclosure issues from our side.
Yeah.
All right. You think of it in that context from the originator, and what's that going to do? What's going to have to be the data put into the LOS to help? Is this part of truth in lending? Surely should be at that point if the buyer's paying. There's all kinds of consequences to it depending on how it falls.
Yeah. Mark, get you in just a minute. Let's get Alice in on this discussion. Alice, we got your segment coming up in just a minute, but I'd love to have you weigh in on this as you contemplate this. Any thoughts you have?
Yes, I have quite a few, but in trying to keep with your theme on trying to stay positive on it, what is the innovation that could come out of it? Because all I think of is if you push this as a buyer, they already don't have enough money to close. And the ripple effect that is talked about in the article, I think is an important one to be aware of, that it's not as simple as saying then split the fee and have the buyer pay half, because you know what? Most people already don't have enough money to close. And you really start to cut out the low mod income and first-time home buyer markets if you say, here, you cover the extra 3% or 2.5%, whatever the number might be.
Whatever number.
So from a positive standpoint, if indeed technology has taken over a big chunk of this job and people are shopping and you need to divide the fees, then let's just cut the fee. Right? That's what they say to loan officers all the time. Hey, cut your fee so we can close the loan. So I think there's a lot to be looked at here because of that aspect. It's not that simple to say split it. I thought what was super interesting in the article was they pointed out this system for compensation has been around since 1908.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting.
That was a really interesting point. And when you start looking at what this means and where we come from technology.
Business, wasn't it, David?
I'm not quite that old yet. So funny. Give me a bad time. I love it. Only 50 years. But 1973. But what the heck? Been around forever. And to your point, we've got now. So I was thinking about this. We were talking with some of our clients about this, and we were saying, okay, so many stockbrokers said, hey, stock trading is really difficult. It's a challenge. We bring a huge value by pushing the buy or sell button to trade your stock. Then along came Schwab, and then along came all the other discount brokers. Then a lot of travel agents came along and said, hey, listen, booking of airline flight is complicated. You don't want to mess with that. Let us get involved. We'll take care of it. We have handled that. We've been doing it since 1908 or however long they've been, whatever. No, not quite that long, airlines. But anyway, the point is it's all these things that have been the underpinnings of our industry, of industries, is all changed. Is this too going to change? And Alice, I know this is going to have huge ramifications. You hit on a really good one. What does this do to create barrier of entry for our first home buyers? I think there's going to be some solutions in here. I think the solution is not just say the buyer's going to have to pay 3%. I suspect the 3% is going to go down dramatically. But then how is that going to be handled, and who's paying it? There will be some very innovative opportunities that come out of this for those that choose to think about it differently. So we'll see the obstacles, but that's that. So, Mr. Kittle, any other thoughts you have for us? And then otherwise, we'll roll over. Oh, I got to get over to Mark. I want to get Mark as co-host. He came in late to the podcast.
Let me give you one. How about one positive? Yep. Okay. So
one positive.
Way up.
Building permits are up. I saw that.
That's a great thing to see in our industry. Applications are rising.
Way up.
and so are the building. So that's go to
Yeah. Guess where I saw that? MBSLive.net. Yes, MBSLive.net. Another shout out to our marvelous Matt. That's what we're going to do. Marvelous Matt. All right. Thank you, Pa, very much. Kit'll stay involved in all of this. Mark, as you're listening in, again, sorry I didn't acknowledge you earlier. I know you dialed in a little bit late, so you're down there on the list. So normally you're at the top of the list. But, Mark, any thoughts you have before we move on to rest of Alice's report?
You know me, David. I always got an opinion about everything, so I'm going to give you an opinion. I am a person who's been involved in the mortgage industry my whole career, and I can't put in how many words, how much disdain I have for the CFPB. So we'll go off on that tangent one of these years. I think that's shared by a number of people.
We're going to go there. We're going to go there in just a minute.
But what I'm having a problem with is the mountain out of a molehill they're making here, because part of my career I owned a real estate company. A lot of people don't know that. I had a real estate company for 5 years as an investment. I was like a silent partner, but I was the owner of the company. I had good people running it and it was doing well. This thing of people, realtors, compromising their fee to make a loan close, we've been doing that for decades, guys. That's no big secret. I can't tell you how many deals I've seen that have closed because the seller or the buyer or realtor is willing to compromise their fee to make a transaction work that wouldn't have worked otherwise. So it happens already. To bring this technology thing in and say that people can do all this work and they need to be able to get a fee. If they go to a realtor on their own, it doesn't have to be legislated, and say, hey, I found a buyer for my property and I hadn't listed it, but I want somebody to handle paperwork. People are not going to ask them for a 6% fee to do that. They're not going to do it. I see it all the time where there's a reduced fee for that. And I still have a realtor office in a piece of property that I rent out, and I talk to that head of that realtor office all the time about things, and she's a disruptive. Her business has been interrupted by everything that's happening in our economy so much anyway, and she's the one that tells me that she's the profound person that tells me that it is not the availability of properties. It's more driven by the rate of what we have happening right now, because she said she's got plenty of properties to sell. Nobody can afford the payment on them is the properties. And then we're still playing around months later on this CFPB thing that's out there that's affecting the other things we deal with, the constitutionality of CFPB, and can't even get two circuit courts to agree on it. So it's a limbo thing that we still have there. So we've got all that in limbo. But I don't think that what they're trying to do is necessary, in my opinion. That is only my opinion. I'd love to hear what other people on the phone have to say, but I don't think it's necessary for our country right now to have the involvement that they're thinking about having at this point in time with this realtor fee issue.
Yeah, it's coming to a head. The article clearly spells October, I believe, and the ruling is going to be on this. So we will see and what kind of disruptions. Mark, thanks for weighing in on that. Kittle, thanks for your comments. Appreciate it so much.